Hello, my name is Heather Marler. I'm going to conduct the mock interview today for my class. Have my badge on here. I normally would have a protective mask on as I was talking with this suspect, but for sake of hearing me and being able to understand what we're saying today, I don't have that on. All right. Ms. Santiago, my name is Heather Marler. I'm the nurse that spoke to you earlier from the health department. I'm here to help you with treating you for your tuberculosis and working through the process today. Do you have any questions for me before we get started?
I don't really know what to ask. I know I've been sick for a while, and they tell me it's something pretty serious, but I don't really know much about it.
Okay, yes ma'am. Well, that's what I'm here for today, is to try to help you understand that more. I want you to know that anything we talk about today is confidential. It's only between you and me for the record. Unless there's someone that you want here that you need to help with questions or understanding, and that's certainly fine with me if it's okay with you, but that's your choice. Okay. I'll probably be taking some notes as well because it is a lot of information we kind of have to go through.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Talking a lot
I
lately.
understand. It is a process that we will work through together. Okay, it's going to take some time, and we won't necessarily get everything answered today, but we're going to get a good start on that. My first question is, you say you don't really understand a whole lot about what tuberculosis is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is a lung infection. It can be in other places in the body, but yours is in the lung.
Mm-hmm.
Tuberculosis is a germ you breathe in through the air, sort of like the flu or other colds. Have you ever been around anybody that you knew of that had tuberculosis?
Not that I know of. Not that they told me.
Okay. And it would be someone that they did not know either. I mean, they'd just be coughing like you. If they didn't know they were sick, you could have breathed that in. That germ can get in there and it can make you sick quickly, or it can sometimes stay for a while, and then it becomes, as you get sick with something else or other factors come in, and then your body breaks down and it starts to cause the problems with the lungs. So that's where your symptoms from the cough and things like that are coming from. It is contagious. So part of what we'll talk about today is also trying to, we want to get you well, but we also want to try to see if maybe we can figure out who gave you that tuberculosis, or we also want to try to help protect those you've been around that would have breathed that germ in and could get sick too, that we can maybe keep them from getting sick. Okay?
So,
Sure. So you're on medicines. Have you felt any better since you've been here and they've started those medicines?
maybe a little bit. It's hard to tell yet.
And I know it's hard to talk, but you take your time and tell me if you need a break. What kind of symptoms have you had? Obviously a cough.
Coughing.
Mhm.
I just hadn't felt good. I just hadn't felt good at all for a couple of weeks. I don't have much appetite. I can tell I'm losing some weight and just feeling feverish sometimes. I think I've had fever for a couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. And those are all signs and symptoms of tuberculosis and how it can make you feel for sure. Do you know, you said just a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's been a couple of weeks. I've been coughing for longer than that, but the last 2 weeks I felt like crap.
Okay. Can you try to think back when maybe this cough started?
Maybe about 6 weeks ago, I think, maybe.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking, we try to look at when your symptoms started and then add 3 months back to that to try to think of the other people we might need to talk to. I know that sounds like a lot, and you won't necessarily know them all today, but I want you to kind of have that in your mind to be thinking where you've been and people you've been around where we can maybe look at that. But that helps us set up what we call an infectious period of the time you might have been where you were contagious, even sometimes before those symptoms are there. So we'll be looking back. It's January now, so probably from about September till now. Okay. What about, I'm going to start, let me verify your address that I have. 1234 Not Feeling So Good Lane, and that's in Montgomery. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I stay there some. That's my cousin Sheila's house.
Okay.
I try to stay with her as much as I can, but, sometimes things happen and people don't want you there. But yeah, that's where I try to stay most of the time.
Okay, so you don't have a place that's yours, actually? Okay. I noticed that also you listed your brother Jimmy as a next of kin. Do you stay with him some, or is that just somebody that...
Sometimes. sometimes.
Okay. Is there anybody else that you've actually lived with, or a shelter you've been to, or anything?
Why do you have to know all this?
Yes, ma'am. Again, because we're trying to make sure where you've been to try to help people, we can test to see if they've been exposed to that germ and give them medicine to keep them from being sick.
So they could
We
get
also,
this too.
ma'am.
They could get this too?
Yes, since it's contagious. And also, we try to maybe find out where you would have gotten it from in case there's somebody else out there sick. But again, confidentiality, we work very hard with, you can notify these people yourselves, or we can let them know that they've just been exposed and need to have testing. It's not necessarily going to be with them, it's your name. You have control over your family and friends that know that as far as from yourself.
Okay.
But it's very important we try to, help prevent people from getting sick, to try to help slow and prevent that spread of TB. Can you think if there's anywhere else you've stayed like that?
Well, I've stayed at a shelter some, Gateway Rescue Mission, off and on when I can't get around, when nobody else is available, will let me stay with them.
Okay.
But that's probably the only other place. I have a boyfriend, and his name is Sam. I stay with him sometimes, but we're not getting along too good right now.
Okay.
So, I've been with him lately.
Okay. Well, we're going to come back to talking about contacts a little more later. I want to verify and just make sure what information I have on you is correct. So when I'm trying to, once you're out of the hospital, we're going to need to keep bringing your medication and being in touch with you. It's going to be very important that you try to find one place to be so that we can come to you to do that. As far as your cousin, if they're concerned, we're going to offer testing, and then we can offer medication. And so that's going to be a good priority thing for us to try to work out for you before you leave this hospital, is that you're going to be in a place where we can bring this medicine to you every day for a while.
Every day?
Every day. These antibiotics work very well, but they have to be taken correctly and every day for a certain amount of time. And as you progress and we get to a certain point, then we can go to twice a week. If it changes some as we go, but this first 2 weeks are really going to be crucial, that we are able to see you every day. Okay, so if you're not able to tell me for sure, that's the address you'll be at when we leave today. I'm going to need to keep in touch with you as soon as you're going to be discharged. We're going to need to try to have a plan for that. So if there's something I can maybe try to help with on that, but
hopefully she'll let me stay there.
okay, all right. What other medications are you on? Or any other health problems you have that you are dealing with?
Do I really have to tell you?
Well, yes, ma'am, because we want to make sure that the medicines we're doing, don't interact, that they're safe for you, that they're effective, that they're going to make you better. It all matters, and, can interact. And we also have labs that we're going to need to check your kidneys and your liver, make sure that those medicines are not causing any problems. And so we need to know everything you're on. Again, it's just for our records, so that our care, for our doctor and us nurses that will be treating you, to see that make sure we're not causing more harm to you, and that what we're giving you will work correctly.
Well, don't tell anybody, but they tell me I have HIV,
Okay.
and I am taking medicine for that.
Okay. Do you know about how long you've had that, or when you were diagnosed?
About 3 years ago.
Okay. Do you know the name of your medicine?
I don't have it right now.
Okay, let's see if I gave a copy. I don't have a list here. If the nurse has it in the record here at the hospital, or if you have it where you can bring it into you, are you taking your own medicine, or are they giving it to you here at the hospital right now?
They're giving it to me.
Okay. I will need to try to get that information, so we'll make sure these medicines are going to work okay together, okay? Anything else? Any blood pressure or diabetes or any other health problems you
No,
can think of?
just that one. Just that one.
All right. Any problems with your eyes? Do you have to wear glasses?
I don't know. I mean, just reading glasses.
Reading glasses. Okay. We will be checking your vision and keeping a check on that. One of the medicines we use right now, we have to watch that closely. So if you do notice the vision changes, blurry vision or things like that starting, you need to let your nurses here know, or once you're out, let me know. That's something we'll need to watch closely, okay? And I will let you look at the vision chart, and then I'll get a vision on you before I go today, so we'll know what that was started. What doctor, do you have a doctor that you see and use?
Dr. Ford.
And do you by chance know that phone number?
601-555-4433.
Okay. All right. Are you having any problems or questions so far with anything we've gone over that you need to ask me?
I don't think so, not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try to think of some contacts that you're with the most, that you have stayed in the house with, maybe ridden in a car with. The closed-in air would be the most worrisome at this point. If there's any small children you've been around, especially under 5.
Oh, I babysit my cousin Sheila's little girl.
Okay. How old is she?
She's 4.
Okay.
Is it going to make her sick?
Well, we hope not, but what we can do is test her to see whether she's breathed that germ in or not, and we can give medicine. In fact, with children this small, we probably will go ahead and put her on medicine for a little while, just to prevent, and while that time frame for us to test to see if she's possibly developed anything with that. So we will. That one will be a very important one that we need to get on to. What is her name?
Jessica.
Okay. Her last name? Is it, well, I only have a first name here.
Walker.
Walker. Okay. She's 4, and she lives at this address. This 1234.
Yeah, Sheila's her mom.
Okay. And so Sheila would also need to be checked. Is Sheila's last name Walker as well?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how old Sheila is by chance?
I think she's 32.
Okay, great. Is there anybody else that lives in that household with Sheila or Jessica?
I don't know. Not in that household.
Anybody else that you babysit at the same time with Jessica, or that comes in to stay during the day?
It's
or
just me and Jessica.
All right. And your mom or her mom or any other family members will come in to visit often, or have been there to stay for several hours at a time? Since September even, if you can think back.
I can't recall them being in that house.
Okay.
Now, in my boyfriend's house, he has a nephew that lives with him.
Okay. What age is he?
He's 14.
Okay. What, do you know his name?
Marcus
What's his last name?
Jones.
Okay. And what is the address for your boyfriend?
246 North Street.
And Sam, you said was your boyfriend's first name? What's his last name?
Ford. No, that's the doctor. His name is Harris.
Okay.
I just don't feel good.
I understand, and I know this is a lot at one time. We're not going to be too much longer because I'm going to stay in touch with you for most days. Maybe if you think of people, if you can write them down for me, and we'll be talking again soon in the next day or two. But Sam's address is that same 246 North Street. Okay, and I need a phone number for Sheila and for Sam so I can contact them.
Sheila's is 601-545-1616.
Okay, and Sam?
Sam, 601-223-4467.
Do you know how old Sam is?
Sam is about 40.
Okay. Anybody else that stays there with him, or that's been in the house staying with you when you've been there?
It's just Marcus that lives with him. He doesn't have many people that come around. I have a brother I see sometimes. Could you
Yes.
get him?
Well, I saw him listed as your next of
Okay.
kin, Jimmy. Yeah. What is his name? Jimmy.
Jimmy Santiago.
His address and phone number.
His address is 242 West Gallatin Street, and he's in Montgomery also.
Okay. You know his number?
454, 3672.
Anybody live with him? When you stay there, that's in the household with him, any children or elderly?
Not that I can think of.
When we talked about Jessica being a little higher risk because she's so young, also people that have problems like HIV or cancer, maybe some really serious health problems would be a little more high risk. Do you know if any of these people or any of the people you've been around a lot have that?
My boyfriend
He
has
has HIV as well. Okay. So he and Jessica would definitely be our really high risk people that we want to make sure, so we can try to help keep them from breaking down. So you say Gateway Rescue Mission. Do you know about rough dates when you stay there? Has it been off and on since September, or has it only been, was it during a certain time?
It was
period?
really just once when everybody was kind of upset with me.
Okay.
So I think that was about December the 3rd.
Okay. This is January. So it's been about a month ago. That sound about right? Okay. So you've mentioned a couple of times when people are mad with you or it's hard to get along. Is that a concern for you with where you're going to be staying? Do you have problems with your family, or is there?
But it comes and goes. I think they'll take care of me. I think they'll be all right since I'm so sick. I drink some and they, sometimes things get a little out of hand, but I won't be able to go to the bar now, so it ought to be all right.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the bar. What bar? Is there a particular one, or more than one that you go
It's
to
just the
frequently?
one in the neighborhood, Charlie.
Do you know an address?
I think it's on Jackson Street.
And has that been since September several times?
That's kind of my hangout spot.
Okay, you're there a lot. Do you by chance know, is there a particular friend that you meet a lot and are at the bar with frequently, or is it just a crowd that comes and goes, or do you know any of them by name?
Dana is kind of my drinking buddy. Dana Harbor.
Okay.
It's just a crowd that's in and out.
Okay. But you're with Dana a lot then,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay. Do you by chance know her address or a number or anything
I
on her?
really don't.
Okay.
We just meet there.
Yeah.
We just got to know each other there.
Okay. Anybody else that you ride with, or do you use a bus or taxi or anything?
Well, I've been riding with my friend Debbie because I'm in this training program trying to get a better job. Debbie Smith,
Okay.
and we ride to the program. We started that about 3 weeks before I went in the hospital,
Okay.
and it's yeah, we ride together.
Okay. Do you have her information, at least a phone number and things?
I think I've got her phone number.
Sure.
601
Mhm.
212-1416.
Okay. And where is it you do this training? Is it a class you're in with other people?
Yeah,
Okay.
the job training class. It's about 10 of us
Okay.
at the junior college down the road.
You know which college?
Copiah Lincoln Junior College.
Okay. What is the name of the class do you do? If it has a particular name, or what night of the week maybe you meet, or day of the week?
We meet about twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's just a workforce training, something like that.
Okay. What time of the day?
6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
In the evening? Okay. Anywhere else like that, like the bar or the job training class that you go to frequently, a church or another mission place or a workplace you've been in trying to hold a job or anything for September?
That's about it. I really hadn't had a job in a long time. That's why I'm trying to get something going.
Okay. And then just have you been to your doctor's office since September?
Yeah, I had to go for my HIV medicine
Mhm.
recertification. They have to do it with blood work and all that kind of stuff. I went, I think it was about November, middle of November, before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. You've given me a lot of good people that we need to check on. I just want you to be thinking as you can. I know that's hard to think right off the top of your head for 3 months. I would have a hard time too. But just keep thinking places you've been, especially vehicles or small areas. We'll test these people and see, if several are becoming positive, when they need to keep going kind of out. Think of like a ripple on a pond, we want to. So that's why it's important we keep trying to think back. We're just trying to cover everybody we could that you may have been around. The exposure may have exposed you too. Okay. Do you want to tell Sheila or Jimmy and Sam, prep any of them before I tell them, or you trust us just to handle that, contacting them? It's very important either way. But you can help us in how to handle that.
Yeah, I'll talk to them today and let them know that you're going to go talk to them too.
Yes, that we'll be calling them to let them know where to come for testing and how we need to set that up.
Okay. I'll kind of explain things and tell them you're going to call.
Okay. And then we'll get in touch with the college to try to find out about that class. At Charlie's, we'll just try to let people know in general that they may have been exposed and where they can come to get tested. They won't necessarily need to know your name, but of course the people you're the closest to are going to know you're sick, and that's why we need you to, wanted you to have that chance to explain that to you. Okay. So the biggest concern I'm hearing is just making sure that you are going to be able to stay with Sheila, and if not, that we can then be trying to figure out where you're going to be, because these medicines, it's going to be very important. We have to bring them to you, watch you take them. It's going to be every day for a while, okay? And then after that, it's still going to be weekly for a while. I can't tell you how long because it depends. Sorry.
Okay.
We're almost through. It's just going to depend on how quickly you're responding to those things. And I know that's frustrating that you're in that class, but you're going to have to miss some things for a bit for us to get you well, better, and not contagious, and then we can start branching out to things. But, if there's anything that we can give a medical excuse for or something like that that would help you, let me know. Otherwise, it may be some things just have to kind of be put on pause for a moment until we can get you feeling better and well, okay? And not be contagious to other people, because unfortunately that's the nature of tuberculosis. It is contagious. So it's a two-pronged thing of helping keep you well and get you well to feel better, and then also protecting other people, okay? And with your HIV, it is going to make it a little harder for you, your system, your immunity is compromised. No, ma'am. That is strictly confidential. No. Nobody has to know that, but I want for you to understand for your treatment. It may make that a little more complicated sometimes with some of the medicines that if they interact. I need you to tell us when you're having any kind of symptoms of nausea or vomiting, severe stomach pains, if your urine gets really dark and it hasn't been, if you're feeling really weak, really tired more than usual, and we'll keep going over some of those side effects to watch, but it would be important for you to know and understand, to let us know so we can make sure we're taking care of you the best way we can.
Okay.
I know you're tired. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. You've given me a lot of good information. Do you have any questions for me?
Am I going to get better?
You will. It's going to take some time because you've been very sick. But these antibiotics are specifically for tuberculosis. They're very strong and they do work well. We just have to make sure we're taking them correctly and the right amount of time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So concentrate on getting well, doing your medications and all that you need to do here. Of course, once you get out of the hospital, you're still going to be in what we call isolation at home. So it's very important, again, to
How
be
long will
sure.
I be on isolation
I
at home?
can't tell you that for sure. It depends on what we'll keep doing is each week we're gonna keep collecting some of that sputum so that we can test it and see how those germs are getting. And when they get to where there's no more germs in that sputum, and that's happened for 3 times in a row, then we can say you're not contagious anymore. I know that's frustrating. I can't give you a set answer. And different people sometimes react and respond in a different, amount of time. But we're going to do everything we can to help get you there as soon as possible. If you just work with us as well too, and complying with those medications. And also, I know you're not drinking while you're here. When you get home, then that becomes available, and that's going to be something we have to be very careful of. Alcohol can cause problems with these medicines too, and we want you to get well. So
Sheila doesn't drink, and she wouldn't have it in her house, so
okay, great.
I'll be all right.
Well, if you need help with that, you let me know. We can see about AA or some different resources that we can try to help you with once you're able to be out of the home.
I don't think that.
You just let me know if there's something you think of or have questions about.
Okay.
Thank you so much for letting me meet with you today, and I will keep in touch with you.
Yes,
I'm going to
ma'am.
leave you my business card so that you have it. If you have any questions at any time, you